Hello, all. Welcome to another episode of Cocktail Hour. Looks like Sherry's looking for chapstick. She's got a new green screen. Life is good. I'm actually drinking something other than wine. So,
it's a good day.
The gang's all here, as you can see. We're not going to use names because they're all on the screen anyway. Hello, my friends. Yes, that's it.
I can't ever figure out forwards and backwards. It's hard. And like in real life too.
Yeah.
So Sherry, what made you decide to do a green screen? It's kind of cool.
Because the real reason is because my room is a complete and utter disaster. And I thought it would be kind of cool to have the book cover, you know?
It is cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
My
wife was very nice. She hung it from the ceiling.
Oh, she's handy.
She is very handy.
Very
and
handy.
sometimes handsy also, but mostly handy. Yeah.
That's a good combo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I'm all right with it. It's all okay.
Has she used that sandblaster machine yet?
Oh yeah, she's used that a lot. I mean, but not right now. Now she's
not
more
on you.
into the. Oh my God, no.
Okay, good.
No.
If we need to come up with some sort of a signal where we need to call 911 for you.
Right.
Send help.
No, she does more the woodworking now. So instead of the renovation type stuff.
Cool.
Restoration, not renovation.
Restoration. Those videos are fascinating. You get the right channels. You can literally sit there for hours and watch these people tinker with some really cool stuff.
You cost me a lot of money. I'm just
doing my part for the economy.
Perfect. That's lovely. Cool.
Yes. Speaking of lovely, let's talk about what we're drinking. And since I know, Sherry, you're not drinking alcohol, let's start with you. What are you drinking?
I'm because there's a lot of beer drinking in this. I am having a non-alcoholic IPA. It's really good. Also, it's one of the best non-alcoholic beers that I've had. I don't drink them very often.
Nice.
A near beer is what we would refer to that as.
What would you call it?
A near beer.
A near beer.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Colette, what you drinking?
The same thing as you, but only half as much.
Hey, y'all.
Having a single and
Colette has tortured me now for a while, at least 2 shows that I remember, where she's having this fabulous drink that has lemon juice in it. Now, mind you, I really do like lemons. Lemon bars. I just like lemons. I love it. Tastes crisp, delicious, right? So I've been watching her drink this. And I'm like, damn, that sounds good. So my ass was sitting on my command chair last night. And I'm getting ready to have dinner. And I'm like, I could use that recipe, but it's on my laptop and I got to hunt for it. Colette, can you just send it to me? And she was kind and she did. And I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. So, because I knew it was amazing, I had to make a double today. But I've warned everybody, if I fall over, it's a short trip. So don't worry.
So I sent her the standard recipe, right? And then I also sent her how I modify it because I don't use 2 different kinds of Scotch. They use like blend and then they also use single malt. And that feels like a waste of single malt to me. And then when you have like a nice smoky rye, that's really all you kind of need to open up the lemon and the ginger. So, but the way that I make it is 3.5 ounces of liquor and then lemon juice. And Andy has decided to double that. So I'm a little concerned that she has a glass with 7 ounces of liquor in it. But okay.
That'd be fine.
The Dominic Canton, which is in there too.
Which is liquor.
Mm-hmm.
It's quicker.
Liquor's quicker.
Make a point?
Liquor's quicker.
And because I bellied up to the bar with the devil, I even brought dry roasted peanuts to the party.
Good. You're going to need that. That's good.
That's what I said.
Colette said the same damn thing.
Very good.
That's because we know you. And
Yeah, because 7 ounces is
that's a lot.
like 7 shot glasses of liquor. Now we're in like Marion Ravenswood territory. Pastore.
Oh my God.
Pastore.
No pastore.
All right. All right, then. So enjoy your delicious drinks. I personally am going to have a wonderful time watching this. We just have to keep the conversation going for the whole hour so that we can.
Yeah, no lag time. I think that's important.
We're gonna see the progression. I should take a screenshot now.
Take it down.
And then a screenshot later.
Yeah,
All
right.
right.
I can
All right.
hold my liquor. What are you talking about?
I know you can.
So,
All right.
We want to talk about the book?
We should.
Yes.
We should.
Good if you want to, I guess.
I mean,
Well, we are going to be discussing Himself, which is a debut novel by Jess Kidd. It came out in 2017. And since it's been out a while, what do you guys think about spoilers? You good?
no, I don't think so. Because I mean,
I mean,
I
there's
don't
a
know.
lot to talk about without giving away.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like it wasn't a full reveal anyway, right? I mean,
Kind
there's kind
of, yeah.
two mysteries, right? One is, who is this guy's dad? I don't feel like we really.
Don't say. See, now you've ruined it.
No, I don't think that we find out.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
No.
We'll get to
So
it.
yeah. So
And
there
then
are
the
two
other one is a
mysteries.
murder mystery.
Yeah. Who killed the guy's mom, and who is his dad?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the central plot is.
So you
in
guys
solving
disagree?
this.
You feel like the
No,
author
I-
reveals both of those things?
No, I don't. But I didn't want you to say that it was that one of those things was still outstanding, because I didn't expect that.
Oh, so I've
said, I mean-
already spoiled it by
You
saying
You've already
spoiled
spoiled
already.
that
it.
we don't know.
No,
Have a drink.
it's fine.
Have a drink. Okay. So, you want me to read the book description from Goodreads?
As long as it's not like an hour long.
It's not. It's just a fairly large paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. You ready? Blending strange kindnesses, casual violence, and buried secrets. An unforgettable debut from a dark new voice in Irish fiction when Moni returned. Yeah, that's right. I have a hard time with that.
Mahoney.
When Lonnie
Yeah,
returns.
I mean, honestly, we would read that as Mahoney,
I would. Yes, that
right?
was
Yeah,
definitely.
I would.
Americans would say Mahoney. And
Yeah.
if had I read this and not listened to the audiobook,
I would have said Mahoney.
I would say Mahoney.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I'll do my best, y'all. All right. So when Monty returns to Muldrig, a speck of a place on Ireland's west coast, he brings only a photograph of his long-lost mother and determination to do battle with the village's lies. His arrival causes cheeks to flush and arms to fold in disapproval. No one in the village, living or dead, will tell what happened to the teenage mother who abandoned him as a baby, despite Monty's
Let's say Mahoney.
certainty that more than one of them has answers. Between Muldrig's sly priest, its pitiless nurse, and the caustic elderly actress throwing herself into her final village play, this beautiful and dark comedy debut novel creates an unforgettable world of mystery, bloody violence, and buried secrets.
Yep, that was pretty good.
That was. I didn't write it, y'all. I came close, but I did. Yeah, I thought that was a really, really good summary teaser. Yeah, man. Good stuff.
So this is the second book that Colette has recommended in a row that we all liked.
What was the
Kudos.
last one?
Mary Jane was last month.
Oh, right.
Yes.
And
Kudos,
so
Colette.
the thing that these two books share, right, because they're pretty disparate, I would say,
Mhm.
in style and theme, but they're both historical, but 20th century historical.
Yep.
Right? So Mary Jane took place in 75.
Mm-hmm.
This book mostly takes place in 76.
Yep.
Yeah.
76.
Right?
Yep.
And then we get occasional flashbacks to 1950, which is when his mother is killed.
Or left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, so we start off with Mahani, something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, so the narrator is clearly Irish.
Which is good for this story.
Which is outstanding. And except that, I mean, again, I would never have read Mahoney as Mahoney. And so there are certain pronunciations of words that are jarring throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And I mean, I have picked up some very remarkable slang from the, I didn't know what a gobshite was, but I do now.
You clearly need to get a subscription to either Acorns or BritBox.
BritBox, yeah.
And brush up because I loved the setting and the language was great, and I never would have gotten, like, what was the bartender dude's name? Tig.
Tig is pronounced, but it's spelled
Tadhg. Yeah, I would never have got that. No. So so if
I think the only thing that we lucked out on is that the setting for this wasn't Wales.
Oh my God, we'd be totally fine.
They don't even really use vowels. It's just lots of double L's that take the place of vowels.
All the
so, I mean, this being in Ireland, it was a little bit easier, but still.
Yeah, it was definitely a glimpse into another culture for sure.
Yeah.
So you've got this small village, and Mahoney comes from Dublin. That's where he was raised in an orphanage, kind of a kick around sort of guy who he's he comes into town with these bell bottoms, and they're laughing and joking about a strong wind coming to blow him away because of his bell bottoms, and he's kind of greasy and unshaven, and leather jacket, and but he comes to town and all of the women just swoon. He's a handsome devil, and he meets a really interesting cast of characters. Now, here's the really interesting thing about Mahoney, is that he sees and can communicate with the dead,
which is awesome.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Did that remind you of any other contemporary authors' writings, like Kim Harrison, or I can't think of the other one's name, where they have characters that can pass between worlds, or there's otherworldly creatures that live in a community, that kind of thing? Did that remind you of any of those?
My brain has gone blank.
Okay.
Wasn't there a bit of that in The Lost Apothecary? No, that was just mystery, and no.
Yeah, I don't think so. There was just a lot of flashbacks and flash forwards.
No, I was talking specifically about
about someone who is a medium, right?
Communicate with a deceased. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that we have. I know that I have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, can you think of any off the top of your head?
No, I mean, no, me either. I'm going to blame it on the alcohol. What are you blaming it on? Old age?
Yes.
I mean, so have you guys ever watched that show? I can't think of the name of it now.
God, we're fucked. We're so bad. I can't remember any books I've read. What about this show that I can't remember the name of? What about that?
Great. It's a series. It's been on for several seasons. I feel like maybe it's on A&E. There is a woman who is a medium, and
Outlander?
Is it called Medium?
No,
Outlander?
this is not fiction.
Oh,
Right. So it's a dude who is a detective. He's like a retired New York detective, and a woman who is a medium, and they get called in to haunting, basically. And the detective talks to all the people who have had haunted experiences. And then he goes and does research at the local libraries and talks to local historians and finds out who used to own the property. And somebody was killed on this property in 1902. And right. And then the medium shows up and she does what they call a walkthrough. And she interfaces with all the spirits and whoever is hanging around. And then at the end, they do the reveal together. And she's like, oh, I saw this deep, dark black entity that crawls across your ceiling and feeds on your energy while you sleep. And I had somebody do a drawing of it, and it looks like this. And then the people across the table who live there shit their pants. And then the detective guy's like, I think I know who that is. In 1872, there was a blah, 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 blah. You know, you guys have never seen that show?
No, but now I want to see it. What's the name of it?
Well,
And
I'm
it's
going to have to
nonfiction?
consult the Oracle of Google.
The Oracle of Google.
perfect.
Oh, wow. She's consulting the Oracle of Google. I got to tell you, there were so many diverse, interesting characters in this novel, right?
Mhm.
And I love Mrs. Colley. She
Oh my
was
God.
the unexpected favorite in this story,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Oh, my Lord. It's like, can she be my neighbor? She's a who?
Okay. It's called The Dead Files,
Okay.
and it is on the Travel Channel.
No, I can honestly say I have never watched a single
Nope.
show on the Travel Channel.
This show is amazing, although at a certain point it gets hilarious, right? Because so the detective figures out all the shit that happened on the property or nearby. And then the medium says, okay, you've got this guy who lives in your basement who's completely harmless, but you've got this guy who lives in the attic and he's trying to kill you. Right? So then at the end, they're like, okay, well, if you're going to stay here, what do you need to do? And she always comes up with these incredible synopsis that's like, okay, you need to find a one-eyed
Jackrabbit.
Jewish yeah, it's like you need a medium who is familiar with gypsy curses, and then you're also going to need someone from the Catholic Church who can do, you know, whatever. What I can't even think of the word.
An exorcism?
An exorcism.
Okay.
Frequently, she will diagnose that you need an exorcism, and then you'll need a such and such to come in and cleanse with sage and whatever. And I mean, sometimes it takes like 4 or 5 people to fix your broke ass shit in your house. You guys totally need to watch The Dead Files.
All right. I wrote it
I
down.
haven't seen it before.
I wrote it down.
Good thing you wrote it down because I'm relying on my memory. So I'll be texting you later, Sherry.
And
Tell me what
7 ounces of liquor.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey.
So now bringing up the church, as you would expect in Catholic Ireland, this village is a Catholic village, and there are some shots taken at Protestants here and there.
Yeah, but there's also like the Catholic priest is a piece of shit.
Oh, he's
a piece of shit.
He is no
He's
Father
a right
Brown.
gobshite.
He's right. He's no Father Jimmy.
No, Father Brown.
Oh, that's true. But Father Jimmy is the dead priest.
Right.
Who haunts the toilet.
Yes.
Okay, so
on the commode and
smoking his cigarette.
Wait, does that make him commodious?
Okay, oh God. Okay, so Mahoney comes to town and he wants to figure out what happened to his mom. At 26 years of age, he's been given this note with a photo and he talks a lot about his time in the orphanage, being beaten by the nuns and the priests, and there's one section of the book where he's kind of speaking as his younger self, and by the time he was 5, he had figured out all of these things about, how the nuns and the priests use the patron saints, and the priest has a walking stick with a beetle on it, and if you can break the walking stick, the beetle will kill the priest. It might take 20 years, but it might be today. And it's just this great discussion that he's sharing about how it was to be raised by the priests and the nuns who I was listening as I was driving, just laughing at that. There's so much great humor in this. But anyway, so he leaves Dublin, and he comes to the town where he was born, where his mother disappeared, and he goes to stay in what's kind of like a rooming house, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's Shauna, the young woman who keeps the house, and then there's old Mrs. Corley, who
An
is
elderly thespian.
yes,
Yeah.
and she's bald. And one of my favorite descriptions is how she puts her wig on, and then she scratched her head, and she describes it as her jaunty wig. So she's constantly changing her wigs depending on the occasion. She has this huge bouffant and a red pompadour, and
Was she a cigar or a pipe smoker? I don't remember.
no, I don't believe so. And she has her own ghost that follows her, John,
Hmm.
Right.
Johnny, who she never really tells us some real specifics about their relationship, other than he's the one that got away. But you kind of figure out that she was an actress who came to this small town from England, and from London, and just kind of fell in love with the place. And she's a little hellraiser, and she had her whole room. She's like this hoarder of of words. She's got books and periodicals and scripts and plays and magazines and all kinds of stuff just stacked all over her room. And that comes out later that she can use these as a defense mechanism, and they go flying at people. But she's a hoot. She's a hoot, and she partners. Go ahead.
You didn't think that was Johnny?
I know that some of it was Johnny, because they describe him blowing that playbill directly to her. So I think some of it was Johnny, but I got the impression that some of it was also magic that she was doing. I don't.
Yeah. So that's like kind of a theme that runs through this too, right? Is the almost sort of a folklore.
Yes.
Magical wood sprites and gnomes and elves, and because when we have, I think the prologue is the actual murder scene,
right,
where the mother gets killed in the forest,
and that was pretty powerful.
Somehow the baby is obscured by plants, and he turns around to kill the baby, and the baby he can't find.
Nature hid the baby from the murderer. Yeah.
And then they talk about how one of the bitches, the bad women in the story, talks about how her Orla, Mahani's mom, who he's searching for, and how she was a changeling, and so there was some abuse going on also, it seems, from Orla's father, and her mom appeared to be a massive piece of shit.
What weren't changelings considered to be evil beings?
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So they, the what was that? Annie, the widow.
Oh yeah, the Black Widow.
I can't remember what her last name was. Annie. Shit, I can't remember.
Fairly.
Feral.
Yeah. Yeah. Farrell.
Feral.
No, Farrell. Was it
It's
Farrell?
feral.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she. So the town is kind of broken. What?
Of Anne Farrell,
Yeah.
there was a great review on Goodreads from this guy named Kevin. And he said there's a splendid scene towards the end where Annie Farrell, the Black Widow, is attempting to smother Mrs. Colley with a pillow when she is assailed by flying novels from the old lady's magical library. A large edition of War and Peace launches the counterattack, knocking her to the floor where she is set upon by the complete works of Jane Austen. It's so true. But yeah, that kind of goes along with it's a magical library.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't remember what I was going to say, but so Mahoney so the town is kind of divided, right? You've got Mrs. Colley decides that that she is going to every year she puts on a play to benefit the church. Meanwhile, she hates the fucking priest, and some of the shit that
With
she
good
says.
reason.
Oh yeah, he's a massive piece of crap. Her wit, I just love when she's in the scene. Nobody else
I
matters.
just want a novel with Mrs. Colley in it.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
So
Yeah,
she,
it would be great if she did like a prequel
Yeah.
oh
thing
yeah,
all about Mrs. Colley coming to town.
Oh my God, that would be so
yeah,
good.
that would be. So there's a group of the old women who believe that that Orla was murdered, and Orla kind of prostituted herself.
She was a free damn spirit. She did what she wanted the hell to do, which went against the town's mores. So she was
Also,
demonized for it.
She was also only 14 years old.
Well,
Yeah,
true.
it wasn't that she was a free spirit and did it because she wanted to. She was trying
I think
to get
she needed
out
to.
of town.
And she
Yeah.
needed money, right? She
Yeah.
needed, her mom was whacked out. Her
Yeah,
dad was
so her-
gone.
Her father was gone and her mother was an alcoholic.
Like
so
a non-functioning alcoholic. She just
she-
sat in a chair and drank.
You know
would
what?
go into town and burglarize homes.
Orla did what she wanted to damn do.
But I do agree with Colette on this. I mean, while she was doing what she wanted to do, it was
She
more
was
out
doing
of
what
a
she
sense of a
had to do.
necessity, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just that she had what she needed at home and was
no.
just out raising hell for the sake of raising
For the
hell.
fun of it. Yeah. She
Right,
wasn't
right.
loving life and woohoo, everything's awesome.
She didn't hate the thrill of it, but I don't think that if her situation had been different, I don't imagine that would have been her first choice. She loved her kid. She wanted to keep the kid. Unfortunately, many of the men in town who were having sex with her were married, had their own families, and that's one of the things that when Mahoney comes into town, it doesn't take long for everybody to look at him and go, "Oh shit, that's Orla's kid."
Yeah.
And in addition to that, looking at all of the men in town, trying to figure out who he resembles, because he does look a lot like Orla, but there are some features that he has to have gotten from his father. So
Sure.
there's a lot of discussion about,
Mhm.
who's the dad.
Yeah, the thing I thought was interesting is so he's got this ability, right? He's clearly a medium. He can see ghosts.
And Orla had the same ability.
He can communicate with ghosts. And apparently he got that from her. And the reason they suspect that she was whacked is because Orla, essentially an illiterate teenager, is able to communicate with these spirits who will, I guess they just sort of step into her body and write letters in their
Right.
own hand about so and so killed me. Right? So she is sharing these letters from wronged deceased people in the town. And as soon as they find out that it's her, she gets killed.
Yep. And
Yeah,
what a
that's
horrific death. Seriously, when this story opened up, if it didn't grab you by the short hairs, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
It was just powerful.
Is this the one that we were looking at that somebody had written like a trigger warning about the death of a dog?
Yes.
Okay, because I had completely forgotten about it until that
Until it
scene came up, and I was like, "Oh, is this the one?" It was not
Yeah.
happy. It was not pleasant. I mean, as you would expect, it definitely hurt my heart.
It did.
But I wouldn't not read the book because of that one scene.
Right. Plus, the dog, like other animals that are dead, Mahoney can also see and interact with.
Yeah.
Right. So we see how that dog dies, and then we see the spirit of that dog later interacting with the spirit of a little girl
Yeah.
who got killed.
Yeah. And now, so one of the first ghosts that he comes in contact with in the town, her name is Ida. She's a little girl who's looking for, she's kind of fucking with them. You know,
Her and her yo-yo.
yeah, come and see this dead girl. And he's like, is it you? And she's like, no, I said the dead girl. I could see her knuckles. And then she takes him to where the little island is. And it turns out that she had seen the murderer getting rid of some of the evidence.
Right. Which is Orla, I believe, right?
Yeah. Well, I think so. What happened was he had gotten rid of Orla, but he had kept some of the bits and pieces, right? He had kept her hair and some body parts, I think. So I think he was.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was ever like specifically outlined exactly what he was getting rid of. I mean, there was talk between Mrs. Colley and the people who were helping Mahoney that sometimes killers keep tokens.
Right. And then somebody, wasn't that now the yellow yo-yo that she was looking at, that was in Tom's trailer, wasn't it?
That I don't remember.
Because he and Shauna had gone into the trailer. So there's this mysterious dude who lives in a trailer in the woods that no one apparently has met except for one guy named Jack, who is the local police officer that guarded Giancana. So he kind of automatically, we meet him the first time in a bar.
Boo Radley kind of character.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Tom Bogey.
Ooh, was it? Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
I think it's what they referred to him as.
Mm-hmm.
But
guy who lives in the woods, but no one's ever seen him except for.
Oh yeah. Tom Bogey, the Bogey Man. Yes, yeah. So it turns out that a lot of people actually do know who Tom is, and that comes into play much later. But Shauna, who runs the rooming house where Mahoney and Mrs. Cowley are living, goes into the woods to try to find out who this Tom guy really is and if he's still around, because he's a suspect. Of course, there are a lot of suspects.
There are a lot of
suspects.
A lot of very eccentric Irish characters.
What you would expect in a small town,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
mean,
in the mid 70s where there's
Yeah.
no cell
Yeah.
phones or
Right.
technology. Yeah.
So the priest does not like any of this. He wants his little town to be just go on as it has been going. This is causing too much trouble. The town is up in arms because here comes this young hippie who is unwelcome, and bringing back a lot of memories, right? So it turns out like the whole town tried to take the baby from Orla, and Orla's like, fuck you, that's my kid. And she comes back and she gets him back, and then she kind of disappears. And then there's all these stories about, well, she took the bus to this other town, and this other lady's like, well, I know that she didn't take the bus on that day because the bus driver was getting a boil on his ass lanced, and she's like, and I know that for sure because I'm the one who did it. So she couldn't have left that way.
Yeah, because everybody in the town tried to convince Monty that his mom left town by bus.
That's right. She didn't want you. She thought that you could have a better life. She was just a whore. She was evil. She was horrible, whatever. And
even if she was, why would you tell that to somebody's kid?
Oh man, some of those people were just awful.
Really? I'm telling you, that's true.
Yeah, they were just awful. So, Colette,
wow.
Holy shit. So, Colette, you had a plot hole that you wanted to talk about.
A plot hole.
Yeah.
Okay, so clearly there was a point where I was listening and I was up to speed, and then there was another point later where I was like, what? Okay, so when Mahoney gets to the boarding house and there's like a little spark between him and Shauna.
Yes.
And then it becomes evident that Shauna has feelings for him.
Yeah.
And they have some kind of little grope in the woods.
Yeah, in the woods, yes.
Right? And then at some point, I can't remember who it was. Maybe Mrs. Cawley is like, you need to be leaving Shauna alone.
Hey, that's a great Irish accent. Wait.
Pretty good.
That's right? So, Irish accent. Seriously,
so
do it again.
He decides that, okay, yeah, I'll leave her be. And then at some point he hooks up with some other lady, some married lady.
Yeah, I had this one too. Okay, so the married
and what
lady
happened to her? Because then later he's with Shauna again.
Okay,
and I'm
so
confused.
here's how this happened. Okay, so they had the grope and fumble in the woods with Shauna.
Right.
Then he goes to he's
Which
hanging
I think
out.
Was broken up because he saw Ida's ghost, right? Isn't
Right. So
okay.
yeah, so he saw Ida's ghost, and then that because she just burst out and starts talking to him, and he's like, "Holy shit, Jesus Christ!" And
wait. I want to hear Colette say it in her Irish brogue.
Ah, you're a fucking gobshite.
Feckin', that was
there was a lot of feckin'.
There was a lot of
arseholes, and there was a lot of farting in this book.
There was.
In church, she lets one rip in church. That was great. So, okay, so then he meets Roisin, I think her name was, something very similar to that.
Yeah.
He meets her at the cemetery, right? He's during church or right after church, he leaves and he goes to the cemetery, and he's just kind of hanging out, having a cigarette, and all of the ghosts are coming up to him. And
he's always reaching for a fag to put in his mouth.
Yes, he
and
smokes
he puts
a
another
lot.
fag in his mouth.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Wow, there's so many gay people in this book.
We're everywhere, right?
Oh my God.
So he's hanging out and talking with all the dead people, all the spirits, and he sees a woman at a gravestone crying. And so he goes over and he's comforting her and talking with her. And it turns out it's Ida's mom. And And then the next thing I know, they're in the woods having sex. So
Right.
I missed,
But
yeah, I
but
don't
there
know
was
what
all
happened
of
with that.
this like inner monologue between both of them, right? So she is, I think, doing work at the evil priest's
Yeah,
place. And
she's
she's
filling in it for a
thinking
housekeeper.
wistfully about how she thinks she's in love with Mahani.
Yeah.
And then Mahani is thinking about her like, oh, yeah, I mean, I could
And
really
then-
see myself with her, even though she's 10 years older than me and married to somebody already. And I'm like, well, this is taking an interesting turn.
See, I thought it was just that, like I was telling you, I lay down on the couch and rest while I'm listening. I just thought this was one of the parts that I may have dozed off during.
Right.
So I'm really glad. Yeah, because I even made a note, the women Mahani sleeps with, because I was the same way. I'm like, whoa, they just talked they only spoke once at the grave, and now they're like,
and now they've
feelings.
decided they're in love with each other.
But then when she says, I'm going to leave my husband and my kids for you, he's like, no, we don't want to do that. And she's like, and he's like, and then all of a sudden he and Shauna are back together.
And that's it.
That's it.
Okay, well, no wonder I missed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to say that the writer's description of him is super off-putting. And I just can't imagine that all these women are throwing themselves at him. Maybe it has something to do with his ability to see the dead, that he's got this magical aura that
I think it was his pheromones.
Yeah,
and his piercing eyes.
You have to stop and consider, right? This is a small Irish town.
Yeah, but still,
everybody was
don't come to town every
They were all
day.
old. Also,
Right.
no young people.
So this kind of hunky dude rolled up.
Wait. Didn't she describe him as a guy that looks like he hasn't taken?
Oh, you just muted yourself. Hold on.
Oh, you sure did.
I gotta go.
That's 7 ounces of liquor right there. She's muted again. Why are you muting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Why are you hitting yourself?
Why are you hitting yourself?
Didn't she describe him as somebody that looked and smelled like he hadn't taken a bath in a year?
Yes, it made me not a year, but yes.
Yeah, that seems a little extreme.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think he seemed a bit rumpled, right?
Rumpled?
But
he always had stubble. He didn't.
She did say that he doesn't. That he smells bad.
I could smell the stink listening to the book. What are you talking about?
But could you taste it? Because that's when it's really bad.
No.
So really, we're waiting for a scratch and sniff version of this.
No.
I have to say, so one of the other things that I really loved was her prose. I mean,
my God, right?
Just some of just the straight prose, the turn of a phrase, just kind of made me just sit back and go, wow, that was
amazing.
Beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah.
That was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, if for somebody who spends a lot of time talking about farts and people farting.
I mean, this book had it all, it had beautiful prose, great humor.
Very lyrical descriptions of things.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Like I was caught off guard a lot because in general you don't get that kind of beautiful writing in a book that's filled with gross humor and bloody murder and just a small town of bizarre characters all the way around. I mean, some of these old women were just awesome. I mean, just the him being able to communicate with the dead people and then the descriptions of how the dead were just like hanging out, like when he goes to confront Annie and he's sitting down and the ghost comes with her knitting and sits down next to him, and she's just knitting and going, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, having the ghosts be such a large part of kind of the background, of the scenery, I think just added so much depth to the story. It was another
It did.
way, another avenue of narration that, and also the book was told in an omniscient POV,
Which I
which
personally appreciate.
in this kind of a story, I thought it
Mhm.
was great. I mean, that's
It
not
did.
something that
Yeah.
we see very often. It's
No.
almost always third person past tense,
Yep.
and
Yep.
and to have the omniscient POV, we were able to get everything going on, and I really enjoyed it
Yeah.
very, very much. It was well done.
It was very well done. And I got to say that I had to back the story up several times because there's so much going on in some of these scenes, or the scenes that are laid out in the beginning apply to something that she'll write later.
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention. It's not some easy breezy thing that you can just, you
Don't
really
take a nap while you're listening,
No,
because
don't
you're
take a
going to
nap.
have to go back like 3
Right.
hours.
You really have to pay attention. You really do. And I
Yeah.
think that makes the book all the much richer for
It
it.
does, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I could definitely, this one I would definitely reread.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for sure. For sure.
Because I know that I've missed little things, little
Yeah.
clues. Maybe we understand. Maybe if we read it again, we'll figure out what happened with his romantic ties there.
Right,
I
with the
don't
married
know.
lady.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't remember who this referred to, but they used the term knob rot.
Oh, that somebody had knob rot?
He's got a bad case of the knob rot. And I was like, oh my God. And so the term has stayed with me, but I don't remember the scene or who they were referring to or anything as it pertains to the plot.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember that, but there are lots of great regional terms. For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the dark humor is second to none.
It really was great.
I cannot remember reading a book recently, like in the last few years, that has such interesting characters in it and that are so varied.
Yeah.
I mean, this has been a real treat. Colette, man, you really.
How did you find this one?
The part of this one.
I think I was just going through Scribd looking for, and they have a little bit of, hey, the shit you've read, you might like this. So this may have been a recommendation, but I don't remember.
And we'll just say it was you, not
I try and filter on the stuff that's highly rated.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
And I think this had like a 4.5 on Scribd. So I was like, oh, okay.
Why not? Right?
I like quirky stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is not at all what I had really expected it to be, just reading the little blurb. So, I mean, there was a lot that was unexpected. And then when we read the reviews on Amazon, and the first review was like horrible, vivid animal abuse described in great detail, and I set the book down and I'll never go back. And we were like, oh, I don't know if but it happens almost at the end of the book. And by then, I don't remember being so distraught that I couldn't continue.
No, but I did stop and it was like, because it's told from the dog's point of view, which I think may have made it better. Because,
maybe, right? Because the dog isn't like, oh, why is my master beating me to death?
Right. Right. No, you're absolutely right.
But I want to go with you.
Exactly. And so we weren't so focused on what was clearly, probably a really bloody scenario and really painful. It was just like, oh shit, what? Okay, well, I'm going to keep going. And clearly, he's telling me to stay, but that's not what I do. I go with him. And then he did some other thing to make me try to stop. And yeah.
Well,
At that point, you're so invested in the story. It's not like you're just going to be like, oh, fuck it.
And you're also hoping that the owner gets his just desserts, right?
Correct.
You feel bad for the dog because the dogs are very loyal to their owners most generally.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling, oh shit, don't do that to the dog, right?
Yeah. But
And then you think, well, hopefully he'll get that shit back in spades, right?
Also, we weren't connected to that dog.
No,
we weren't emotionally connected to that dog. It was the
No,
first
but
time we
still,
had really
I don't
heard
like-
about the dog.
I don't like seeing animals hurt.
No,
right?
no,
Right.
no,
I
not
mean,
at all.
Anybody who ever had to read where the red fern fucking grows.
I have not.
Oh my God. That was required reading in my junior high.
Oh shit.
And
What happened?
nobody who read it is ever going to be the same.
Why? What
Oh
happened?
my God.
Because those dogs die in a horrific way.
Oh.
And they detailed it out in the story?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. I still remember the one dog's entrails that get stuck in the shrubbery. Yes. I'm never going to be okay. Because some fucking bitch
But I wouldn't
gets
either.
that book.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my
Well,
god,
Yeah,
that's
I would
terrible.
so much have rather have done critical race theory.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, that's all bullshit. There's
Right?
no-
Oh,
So
come
that-
on.
That and like Old Yeller. I mean, I feel like there's a series of things that we were exposed to as children that had to do with the death of animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely horrible. Innocent animals, like, oh, don't get me started. But it also reminds me of when we were children, especially our age group. There were shit that we did that we're amazed that we're still alive. I mean, remember that damn thing where you got on it and it was running in a circle real fast and you like fly off and
Well, and all
Oh.
of that shit was like 110 degrees, right? Because
Yeah,
it was
that
all
too.
the steel
That shit
sitting
burns
out in
you,
the
so you're like-
sun. Then you
Yeah.
go down the slide and leave a layer of skin behind. I mean,
Yes,
it really was kind of
yes.
survival of the fittest sort of a thing. Like if you were going to be a frail little sickly kid, you were not going to make it.
You are
Wow.
screwed.
Yeah,
Screwed.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, so back to this book, like if you could make it through the prologue, right, where
Yeah.
Yeah.
the main character's mother gets murdered,
Yeah.
then I think by the time
You're
you
fine.
get to the dog murder
Yes.
much later,
That's
Yeah.
about what, 3/4 of the way into the book.
at
Yeah.
least.
Oh, it's more than that. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
think it could, because at that point it's the who the murderer is at that
You do.
point.
You do.
So I mean, if you get to that point and you decide
Just
that it's
skip that
too much
chapter.
for you, just skip the rest of that chapter and move on.
Yeah, I think it's probably just meant by the author to demonstrate what kind of a person the murderer is.
Yeah, that it's just, and then I mean, yeah,
Yes.
I don't think it was gratuitous. I think it was a meaningful scene.
I mean,
for
I could have
sure.
done without it. It would have been all right. But obviously, she felt like she needed some additional scene to show, who this person was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe so, because I mean, we get, maybe it's more, that he has always been this horrible person. He didn't just grow into the horrible person that we now see, who doesn't seem to feel bad about killing people.
Yeah.
He took care of at least one other person during the time of the, the 1976 thing. So he was already just an evil fuck.
Yes.
So the highlight for me, old women for the win.
Well, and I mean, I have to say, like you guys talked about all the great characters, they were all women.
They were.
There weren't
Yeah.
really any. I mean,
Yeah.
Mommy was probably the most endearing character, and Andy has already said that he stunk, and she
He tastes bad.
right? And he was like cream of the crop of the
Yeah.
men
Yeah.
in the story. I would
Yeah.
say.
Well, and what was it? Tag.
Whatever the hell.
Ty.
No, he was a
TRGGQXV. Ty.
There's a hyphen in the apostrophe. There's an apostrophe.
And he's a gobshite.
Right. He's a gobshite. He was not an attractive man, but he seemed to have a good heart. He seemed to be a decent person.
He used to be attractive. And then
Yes.
he got heavy.
And then he got heavy. And there's one scene where Mahoney is wants to borrow his car, and he says something like he goes to the bar and the dude is all you can see is his ass crack, so he asks his ass crack if he can borrow his car, and the ass crack said yes. It's little things that or the woman, the actress woman who I can't think of her name, Mrs. Cowley. Yeah, she's talking to the priest toward the end, and she wishes him a lifetime of hard shits. She always does these little curses on him.
Yeah.
Their dark humor is peppered throughout this.
Oh
show.
my God, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is awesome. As a matter of fact, I told the gang before we started recording that I've started listening to Things in a Jar, which is another novel by this author, and same thing. All kinds of interesting dark humor, ghost. It's in her prose. It's just, it's just marvelous.
Wow. And again, I mean, this is a debut novel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've all read a lot of debut novels that, don't always measure up to expectation, and you kind of cut the author some slack because, you get better as you learn and hone, right?
And I think that debut novels tend to be more transformed by editors and publishing houses, right? Because they have the power to do that. They're like, yeah, we'll publish this, but can you go ahead and make it a romance?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like major changes happen to debut novels most of the time.
Yeah.
So.
Which reminds me. When the hell, Colette, are you going to get that novel from the 70s or something old Western? What the hell?
Andy and I were talking the other day, or that was last week, I think, and we're like, we haven't given Colette a hard time about not.
Oh, I've so missed it.
Yeah, I bet. I know it's one of your favorite things. So, are you working on? Has that just kind of been set? I mean, the state of the world as it is, I totally would be, I would totally understand if the muse has left you.
But we need an escape. Honestly,
agreed.
Right? So, I mean, Colette, you've got a great way with words. I mean, I have enjoyed every single novel, which is very diverse. Every single novel we've read. And I've loved it to death. So I'm waiting for the next one. What the hell's going
on? Okay.
Wow.
All right.
But I mean, there's a lot of research that has to be done.
Okay, but this has been like 5 years.
Agreed. I mean, you have to be motivated to do so. It's
that's
like
true.
I kind of started working on the 70s one, and then I transitioned to something else. And you really have to be motivated and focused to do it. And, when it's the kind of thing where you work all day and then you just want to log off and drink, it makes it hard to do research.
I do get that.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if this would be helpful, but, you could just do voice recording and just ramble all the shit that you want to that you find would be, be interesting. Maybe just a series of, have you thought about a collection of short stories or a collection of essays? Because frankly, like the last calls that you had done, those could be considered
awesome.
more of a,
Awesome.
an essay type thing.
Good point.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I will catch it.
You've got amazing talent. And for you not to produce anything,
It's a
just
sin.
wrong. It's a fucking crime. Seriously.
It's a feckin' crime.
It's a fucking gobshite.
Yeah,
Listen.
gobshite.
I need alcohol.
Oh my
No,
God.
you need food.
What you
And-
might need is a nap.
I don't need no nap.
Okay.
I don't need no stinking nap.
I don't need no stinking nap.
Because I finished mine and I feel a little.
I know, because your face is already red.
Yeah,
That's how you know when Colette's done with her cocktail.
Well, I did notice that it was kind of red when we started, and I think part of that is the light in this room, but it's probably more red now. And what can I do?
Yep. No, true.
Get a refill, clearly.
Oh, I don't know.
Call the
only
Romans
5
say,
o'clock.
Randy, you need another drink.
It's 5 o'clock where Andy is. It's 4 o'clock here,
What I
right,
need
then.
is a meal, I think.
Yeah. Andy, it's time for you to order dinner.
No. I got pizza in the fridge. I just need to heat up.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's good. It's all good. I'm fine, honestly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll reach out in a half hour.
No.
It-
I mean, I don't know if you guys have had this experience before, but when you're sitting and drinking, it's like, I feel fine. And then you stand up and it's like, holy shit, everything's spinning.
I'm guessing there's no pants.
I don't have
So-
any pants on. No.
It's-
I try not to wear pants, honestly.
See, that's perfect because I watched the Bob's Burgers last night with Bottomless Businessman.
Mhm.
Oh, no, I missed that.
Yeah.
Is that a new one?
Well, I think it's from last season. Gene likes to play bottomless businessman when he's in the bathroom. So he's just got a shirt on and his dad's work shoes. And then he puts on a tie and he pretends to talk on the phone. He does a lot of work. Bottomless businessman does a lot of work.
That's beautiful.
That's
That
the
makes me
episode
happy.
where everybody gets pinworms, which I was not fully prepared for.
Oh, I think I did watch that one. Yeah, I'm sure I have. Anyway, so
Yeah.
we are going. We're going to figure out what we want to read for next time.
Before we kind of mostly sign off because it's overtime, did we get to the very end? Because I know Colette had a concern about a plot line that was
Yeah,
in.
we already talked about that.
We talked about that.
Okay.
That was the
That was in
women.
the-
That was the
That was
girlfriend.
earlier. You talking about the father, right?
No, we're not talking about that. Just that it wasn't resolved.
All right, fine. Let's move on.
No, my question with the plot was how did he end up like hooking up with the married lady and then suddenly he was back with Shauna?
When we never
I
saw him get with the married lady, they had a conversation,
All right,
and then
all
all of a
right.
sudden,
No, they decided that they were in love with each other and then they started making out and then she was like, "Yep, I'm going to leave my husband." And then suddenly he was back with Shauna and I was like, how did I miss this?
Okay.
yeah,
That
was
was my question with the plot.
yeah. So we're gonna find something else to read. Frankly, I'm afraid to recommend anything at this point.
Why?
I think my last few recommendations were not good. And so we're on a streak now with
I would have to go back and look. Yeah, and I was saying I should have left this for the March book so that we
Yeah.
could have had
Well, I
corned
mean,
beef and cabbage and unread about the feckin' gobshites and
I'm enjoying the things in jars. If y'all want to do another book by the same author,
no.
okay, never mind.
I'm
I'm just throwing that out there.
We're thinking about possibly doing Stacey Abrams mystery.
although that seems like it will be emotionally devastating
I
potentially.
don't want any emotional devastation. Why don't we read something classic like James Joyce or Henry James or something?
Well, so Henry James is what, a lot of fingering, and James Joyce, right? Is Henry James not the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of
I have not read any of those.
Uh-oh.
Like
All
I've
right,
not
gang.
really read any classics, but I have a bunch of them. And
All right, so we need to talk about this offline.
Fair enough.
It's
All
over
right.
time. We need to haul ass.
all right then.
I need another cocktail.
Really? You need another 7 ounces
I
of
need
liquor.
another cocktail. Come on, man.
Okay.
All right then. All right. Well, it's been a blast.
It has. It definitely has. I've really enjoyed it. And Colette, thank you for introducing us to this author.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it was introduced to me too. I was just
Fan-
flying by the seat of my pants. Sometimes it works out, and then sometimes it's like that book with the toilet, the dude hanging out on the lady's toilet.
Yeah.
You know, it can go.
This one had good toilet.
Yeah, it had a ghost on a toilet instead of a stalker on a toilet.
Yeah. See,
Sitting there
Something
and thinking,
okay.
she sat here with her naked bottom.
It's the subtle differences that make the difference.
It's true. All right then.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and we'll keep you posted as to when the next show is. And thank you for being here.
Yeah. And happy belated birthday, Carol.
Oh yeah, Carol.
Yeah. All right.
Keep it
Bye,
up.
everybody.